It is Sunday morning, and you know what that means. It is NFL Week 3. Browns hosting the Giants, trying to get to 2-1. There are so many freaking injuries for fantasy football. I got you covered. Hashtag Ask Andy coming up, and we're going to join the parlay party, baby. We're going to build out some nice betting tickets for NFL Sunday. Josh Hennig of ESPN will join me as well. Hey, man, let's get to the show right now.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara, the sickest Cleveland Browns podcast.
Chubb runs, he's to the 10, 15, he's to the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. There goes Chubb, he's to the 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Chubba Lubba Hub.
It's gonna be sick.
Welcome, everybody. Yes, it is time for another edition of the Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara. And we're going to be ready here, folks, okay? Browns back in Cleveland. Week 1 was that stinker, that dud. We've washed that memory away. Now's a chance for redemption against a very bad Giants team, but a defense that is just good enough to make things probably a little bit interesting. Can the Browns take that next step on offense to show progression? We're not looking for a 400-yard passing game. I'll take it. We're not looking for anything like that from Deshaun Watson. I want to see progression. I want to see you take the next step in this offense. And the injury side is very interesting, as well as got a few interesting notes here, that Kevin Stefanski, and we're going to be knocking on wood here, okay, is undefeated in week 3, undefeated in game 3 as a head coach with the Browns. Okay, it's just a consistent level. The players talk about it. And if you can get to that 2-1 mark, it's funny. The Browns record under the whole Stefanski era has always been 1-1 after 2 weeks. That's what it's been. So now we look at, okay, where does this team go from here? What does it mean? Because you look at the defense for the Giants. They kept it real close against the Commanders a week ago. And what's interesting is when you look at the two teams' red zone defenses. So for the Browns last year, 32nd, dead last in red zone efficiency, meaning teams got inside the 20. Well, they're scoring. They're scoring touchdowns. And so the Browns, week 1, the one time Dallas was in there, they scored. Last week against the Jaguars, 4 trips inside. They denied them 3 of the 4 inside that 20. So that's really good. Now the Giants, here's what's interesting, made third down stops inside the 20 last week against the Commanders at the 9, 8, 9, 11, 15, and 12-yard line. So the Commanders had to kick field goals each time. Now, that is going to be a fascinating storyline to watch because we've also seen the Browns offense stall under Deshaun Watson inside the red zone from time to time, right? Field gets a little shorter. Where are we looking at? Who's the target? Is this an Amari Cooper bounce back game? So that red zone battle inside by the defenses is one to watch. That's the biggest one for me to watch. Now, injury-wise, it looked like Thursday, it looked like Jack Conklin was going to get in there finally. And then on Friday's practice, he pulled up with a hamstring. So he had the knee, now a hamstring issue for Jack Conklin. All right. So that's not good. DeJuan Jones went down in practice, but has no injury designation. He's back up. Looked like he tweaked something in that injured knee. Now, the good news is, looks like Jed Wills is actually going to make his season debut. Left tackle Jed Wills is going to be back. Now, we don't know in what capacity. He's going to be active as long as he doesn't tweak anything in the pregame. I would think what you would try to do if you're Kevin Stefanski is have Wills maybe as that. They didn't elevate Ifedi either, the backup rotational tackle. So they didn't have him up there. And so to me, what it looks like is you'd probably start Hudson and Jones, have Wills there. Maybe you put him in a little bit, get some game touches, but have him as the primary backup because I wouldn't think you'd be giving him a full workload right away. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to be able to do that. Make sure you are jumping in the chat. We are live on YouTube. The Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara, on Twitter as well, on X, at SickPodBrowns, at AndyMC81 on the channel. Click notifications on. Subscribe. We always love that. Get your fantasy football questions in using hashtag Ask Andy. I'll get to that a little bit later on. Any betting questions? I want to know your bets too. You got any crazy 10-leg parlays coming? So we're going to jump in the parlay party. I think, a really juicy Browns same game parlay versus the Giants today. I feel this is going to be a absolutely huge game for Amari Cooper. You guys heard, I'm sure, on Cooper speaking to the media, saying, look, man, I've been humbled. My head wasn't in the game. Very honest, very candid. And I think this is a day where we're going to see Deshaun Watson and Amari Cooper get right. Now, what's interesting for the Giants defense is you got those two bookends. They trade Brian Burns a ton of money. Now, he was injured earlier in the week. He's going to play, but he's banged up. He's not 100%. And you got Thibodeau, who's in there, but they haven't recorded a sack yet. You don't want to be able to give them that satisfaction. You don't want to be able to say, okay, this is the one. And that's what always makes you nervous with Deshaun Watson holding on to the football. I hope that they have organized and orchestrated plays to say, Deshaun, get the damn ball out quick. You do not want to have those two very dynamic edge rushers coming at you and getting any sort of feels, getting any sort of momentum. Because that's, like we said, that the Giants defense, it's not great, but it can be good enough to keep you down. And the Giants want to be able to keep this close, keep this within that field goal range. And they could certainly do that. So if you're Deshaun Watson, we want to be able to see that connection. Now, what's encouraging has been that Amari Cooper has been getting the targets along with Jerry Jeudy. I believe through 2 games, it's 17 targets for Cooper, 14 for Jeudy. Now, Jeudy has had much more success. Touchdown, that beautiful sideline catch, a two-tap toe touch to keep it in. And Cooper's let 2 touchdowns go through his fingers. Now, if he's focused and then get that chemistry, I think it is going to be a huge reception day and a breakout party for Amari Cooper. And if you got that, then we start getting rolling, baby. Then we start feeling it, right? Then we start feeling good. So for the Browns, it's you got that and the elevations from the practice squad. And I want to just make sure I got that right here because they've elevated Jeff Swaim, tight end. So interesting, they brought up Swaim. Remember, the Browns went heavy last week on several occasions. They went the jumbo package with the extra linemen and then super jumbo, 2 extra linemen brought in instead of the tight end. So this week, the Browns have signed and elevated running back Gary Brightwell. Remember, they had Royce Freeman, but Pierre Strong's going to miss a bit of time. Gary Brightwell and tight end Blake Whiteheart to the active roster from the practice squad. The team has also elevated cornerback Tony Brown, the second, and tight end Jeff Swaim from the practice squad. It signed back Nathaniel Watson, their rookie linebacker, to the practice squad. They released him earlier in the week, which I don't think that's a damnation on Watson. I just think that the Browns linebackers have been playing so well. Like Hicks and JOK have been lighting it up. Watson can't get in there. So he's back on. I still feel we're going to hear, maybe not this year, but Nathaniel Watson's going to be a player for this Browns team. So the Browns have now elevated 2 tight ends and not a reserve lineman, which leads me to think, well, you're probably going to see 2 end tight ends, maybe more so of that Stefanski offense last year again. And that mix in. And that's the other storyline. How does this offense, the play calling, evolve with Stefanski? Because right now, I don't know what the hell Ken Dorsey's doing there. What is it that you do here, pal? And credit to Stefanski, you got to get the wins. But do they ease some of it in? Really depends on the game flow. But that's going to be the storyline to follow. What does this offense look like now that you have those other, now 2 tight ends elevated to join Jordan Akins? Tony Brown, the second up there with the cornerback with Jeff Swaim and Whiteheart. It'll be pretty interesting. So a real vet in Swaim, who Stefanski knows, and then Whiteheart, who is new. So pretty interesting there. We'll get into our Browns Giants previews, predictions, and also talk a lot of fantasy football and betting tips here. So get those questions in. Hashtag Ask Andy. You can jump into the chat on YouTube, the Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara. On X at SickPodBrowns, at AndyMC81, Instagram and TikTok at AndyMCSports. And folks, you know what? If it's game day and you want to feel good, you want to get your Browns spirit on, you want to get ready to rock, you go to Homage, baby. Look at that. I'm going to stand up here. Look at that shirt. That is an homage shirt. That's the old Browns. That is the old Browns logo there. That's just one of many. Homage specializes in ultra comfy, high quality looks, repping sport, pop culture, and more legendary moments. Learn more about Homage with the link in the description. I got that cool autogram shirt too, so check them out. They're very neat. And a new sponsor coming to the show, Stadium Mustard, baby. Oh, yeah. I love me some Stadium Mustard. We got Bob and the crew. They are Bill and the crew, absolutely sensational at the Stadium Mustard. And I don't know if you guys have had it or not. It's a brown mustard, bit of a Dijon, little zing to it. Little zing, which is great. Some red pepper flakes, but not too much. It's perfect. Hot dogs, hamburgers, sandwiches, deli meats, whatever. We'll have a lot more from our buddies at Stadium Mustard as the season goes on the Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara. Let's bring him in from 97.3 ESPN in South Jersey. It is my guy, Josh Hennig. Josh, how you doing, buddy?
Brother, what's going on, man?
Oh, you ready? You going to pop some Stadium Mustard on your sandwich or dog today, bro? Let's go. Let's go.
I'll have to order some of that. You know,
that's right.
What's that? What's that? Shipping and handling to the address of the screen. Call now.
Call now. That's right. That's right. Based out of Ohio. Yeah, it's probably right around, probably in a store near you and all you listeners out there. Okay, Josh. Now you graciously joined us. You're gonna be en route today for an Eagles watch party, I think, right?
Yeah, I'm in South Jersey. I'll be at the Doyle's Poorhouse in Tuckerton. They're gonna have an Eagles watch party. We're doing stuff like giving away an AJ Brown Eagles jersey,
Ooh.
David Spade comedy tickets in Atlantic City, and a couple other items. So,
love me some David Spade. That's all right. That's pretty swell. Okay, so if you're in the South Jersey area, you know that triangle, jump on in, see Josh, go win yourself some stuff. And Eagles versus Saints. We'll get to that game. We'll put that in the parlay party picks, Josh, because that's I feel real interesting game. But also with you being in South Jersey, your listeners, your show, a lot of Eagles, but also a lot of Giants fans. And that's where the Browns host them today. The Giants, I think, Josh, it's easy to just overlook them as being a terrible team, which they are. But that defense, I think, can be sneaky good to just keep things close enough like we saw against Washington last week.
The problem with the Giants is that no one talks about their defense because their offense is so putrid.
Yeah.
And one of my picks that we're going to throw into that big parlay today has to do with the Giants offense. So that's a little tease for a little bit later.
Ooh.
But, the thing with the Giants defense is, they always say the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah.
That's the Giants. The Giants had good intentions when they went out and got Brian Burns, right? When they drafted Kayvon Thibodeau, when they started building this defense, right? They had the right idea. Now, the question is, will that right idea ever pay off? I have no idea, because the problem with the Giants still remains, my friend. You can have a good defense, but if your offense doesn't score any points, it doesn't matter. You know that as a Browns fan. Until you got Flacco, last year, you were trying out, PJ Walker and all these different guys, hoping that they might do something.
Mm-hmm. That's it. And so for Daniel Jones, we know his time, and maybe that whole regime's time is probably not long for this world in the NFL. But you got to give the guy credit in the sense that he can still beat you with his legs. And defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz for the Browns brought that up. He's like, look, man, the Schwartz defense in Cleveland has struggled with the mobile quarterback. That's where I think you see a JOK. And the thing with Daniel Jones is, and Brian Dable, he's much more built like Josh Allen than Lamar Jackson. Like, this is a 6'5". He looks dope. He looks nerdy, but that's a big dude. And he can beat you with his legs there. So I feel for the Giants, it's probably like, if you're the defense, double up on Malik Neighbors. Say, you try to beat us with anybody else, and have that spy on Daniel Jones and the offense. I think it's Daniel Jones' legs and Malik Neighbors, and that's it.
And it's a shame because Daniel Jones, they're trying to put a square peg in a round hole, right? They're trying to take a guy who is a mobile quarterback by nature, right? You watched him at Duke, you knew he was a scrambler, right? Mm. And, he's famous or infamous, depending on who you ask, for that Eagles game where he tripped over his own feet near the goal line and couldn't score. He got caught by the grass monster. Right. And it was like, but that's what he can do. So the Giants are so hard trying to make him into this franchise prototype quarterback. And it's like, No, I would. You know what I would say, Andy? Call Army or Navy, get some triple option ideas if you're the Giants, and just be like, "Look, man, we're gonna go. We're gonna turn our tight end into a fullback. Hey, as Michael Keaton said in Batman, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Otherwise, you're wasting Daniel Jones at this point.
Put him in the wing, yeah, like 1950 football style, right?
Yeah.
Look, if you're the Giants and Brian Daboll, you are in survival mode. You have to do whatever it takes to try to win. That's what Kevin Stefanski, the Browns, did last week. Like, Josh, that wasn't a Ken Dorsey offense last week. We saw super jumbo sets. We saw whatever it took to win. And they have to do that again this week for the Browns. And I'd feel like the Giants, you can be desperate and it's still not work, but like they got to be pulling out all the stops. You go 0-3, and this thing can spin even more out of control.
And it doesn't help that Brian Daboll completely mismanaged the game last week. You know, like it doesn't help that, first of all, they had an injured kicker and they didn't bring a kicker up to the roster. Then your already banged up kicker injured another part of his body during the game, chasing down a kickoff. Then you're back to your punter. Your punter, they literally looked at him for a 40-yard field goal. They showed it on TV during the game. Daboll looks over, and the kicker's just like, nope, not making that,
Jamie
bro.
Gillen? Is that Jamie Gillen? That was the old Browns left-footed Scottish rugby punter. We had him here.
Yeah.
And he says, no. What a Giants thing. Nah.
Like they looked at, I think it was like a 42-yard field goal. And Daboll looks over, and you see him just shake his head on TV.
That's amazing.
And Daboll's like, okay, you know, and it's like, and that was part of the reason why they kept going for it on fourth down when they should have been kicking it and going for extra points, which I don't understand why you can't at least make an extra point, but that's a different conversation. The point is that Daboll completely mismanaged everything last week. So if you're Brian Daboll, you're coming into this Browns game knowing that you got a really good defense on the other side. You got to find a way, as you put it with Stefanski last week, right? You got to find a way to make this game a time of possession battle. That's the only way the Giants can win this game. They got to turn this into we are going to milk the clock, run the ball, run the quarterback. Like, remember that game in like the horrible weather between the Patriots and the Bills years ago, where Belichick was like in his element because he was like, I'm just going to run the Navy offense the entire game. And Mac Jones, they threw it twice the entire game, and they won. They won. So.
You got the win. It doesn't matter. You can jump in the chat here. We got Broadcast Map saying, hi, Andy. I'm tuned in. I'm a new listener. I've been following your work over the years. Hello, Broadcast Map. Welcome. If you got any fantasy football questions, betting, advice, issues, you got your own ticket, let us know. If you're a Browns fan, hello, welcome aboard. Love to have you. This is interesting too, Josh, because I look at the Giants depth chart, and you mentioned the kicker, Graham Gano, on the IR. They brought in Greg Joseph. Browns fans will remember before now with Hopkins solidifying the kicker position, we went through as many kickers as quarterbacks. Terrible kickers. Greg Joseph was in town. Josh, so bad. Greg Joseph stands out to me because this guy was so inconsistent and terrible. I was at Browns training camp in 2019. And it was great. Through the Browns backers, got Bernie Kosar to sign the mini helmet. It was awesome. But after practice, the players would run by and they'd be signing autographs. So they had that football right there. Guys would sign it and all that. And Greg Joseph came up. And Josh, I pulled the football away and there was like a piece of paper and I wouldn't even have him sign the paper. And he was like talking to people and he's like, oh boy, I just, want to have fun out there. And I said to him, I want you to make kicks. And he's like, ha ha ha. It's like, you are the worst. And then he got cut. Greg Joseph sucks. It's good. Put it in Greg Joseph's hand, please, for the Browns, for the Giants today. I just had to get my Greg Joseph rant out. I was so pissed off about that guy. I'm telling you about a kicker. All right, let's get to some fantasy football stuff here, Josh. We got a couple questions. Let's get to hashtag Ask Andy. All right, you get your questions in on Twitter, on X at SickPodBrowns, at AndyMC81, at Josh Hennig as well on X, and Instagram at AndyMC Sports. Of course, you can jump in the chat here on YouTube and subscribe Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara. Let's get the first one up here, Shane. See what we got here. Question-wise, we got from Pedro in Calgary. Our guy Pedro said, in a jam this week with injuries in my standard non-PPR league and need a flex option. Bucky Irving, Buccaneers, Dowdle for the Cowboys, Deontay Johnson for the Panthers, or Mike Williams. So Williams is out because that was the Jets game, and I don't like Mike Williams anyway. Josh, what jumps out to you here? Because you got two backup rotation handcuff types in Irving and Dowdle, and Deontay Johnson with the god-awful Panthers, but you do have Andy Dalton.
That's my thought. It's Andy Dalton. It's not Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Of all those options, I would go Johnson because, frankly, I don't even know what Dowdle's role is in the Cowboys offense.
Yeah.
And you're telling me I'm going to trust a guy who has had, 2 games that are legitimate his entire career in Irving? At least Johnson has a resume. And Andy Dalton, look, Andy Dalton's not the great quarterback anymore. He's not a perennial starter, but at least he knows how to throw the ball. So Deontay Johnson has a much better chance than the other two.
Yeah, and it can add some stability to this terrible Panthers team. Like, Andy Dalton has won division titles, right? He's distributed the ball. Sometimes you need that veteran. Like, that whole team has got to be checked out on Bryce Young. You feel terrible for the guy, right? He's too small, and the coach he's been ruined. So Andy Dalton in there. I'm with you. Let's go Deontay Johnson for Pedro in Calgary. Let's pull up the next one, Shane. See what we got here from Joey Webb at Joey Wheeler 85. I need 3 running backs. Currently, I have Tony Pollard, Jordan Mason, and J.K. Dobbins, of course, starting. Got Zach Moss on my bench. Nice little roster of running backs here. I like Moss's matchup more than J.K. Thoughts? Now, interesting with Tony Pollard is it looks like Ty Spears for the Titans is banged up, will play, but could have a limited role, even a better play for Pollard. So is Moss on the bench or Josh Dobbins or J.K. Dobbins for the Chargers?
Yeah, the problem with Dobbins is that he plays for a team that already has another running back. And I know that Edwards is starting to outpace him in terms of touches, in terms of reps. So to play Dobbins at this point against a Steelers team with a really good defense, I think that your guy here, what was that, Joey Webb? Joey's got the idea, which is maybe take JK out and put Moss in. Because, again, I don't see this. Dobbins has been getting a lot of his scoring, Andy, in, like, big plays or garbage time. Yeah, he's not getting them, like, in the guts of the game. And let's be realistic. If you have a banged-up quarterback, are you going to want to run the ball? Yes. But in a timeshare, as you know, Andy, timeshares are the death knell to every fantasy football manager. So it's a risk-reward analysis between Moss and Dobbins to me.
Yeah, and here's the thing, too. Moss plays in the second. We have a doubleheader Monday nighter this week, by the way, folks. Play in the second, the 8:15 Eastern. Bengals hosting the Commanders. Commanders much more fantasy-friendly opponent than the Steelers are. So I'm kind of with you. I like Moss better. It is tough, though, because Dobbins has been explosive with those chunk plays. But if you don't get one of those, then you're in trouble. So I would say, if you want, it depends on your risk reward. You want to gamble a little bit? Like, I like the Tony Pollard, Jordan Mason. So you're probably safe if you want to roll the dice and go Dobbins because those other two should pay off for you. I'm fine with that. If you want a bit of a safer play, then it's probably Moss at this point, where Dobbins can hit the home run and the other ones can't. So,
exactly.
Let's see. We got on the chat on YouTube. We got Fam First. If we can pop that up. Fam First, welcome to the show, baby. PPR, DK versus Miami. So DK Metcalf versus Miami, or Jamo versus Arizona, Swift or Dobbins. Ooh, there's some good questions. Look, I'll say this, Josh. I'm not going against DK Metcalf right now. That straight fire. He is just ramping up. And the Geno Smith play, and for fantasy football too. If you guys are looking, I know Derek Carr was the hottest waiver wire ad. If you want a nice, boring, set and forget 17 fantasy point, give me Geno Smith. He's going to get every week. It's tremendous. I'm going to say DK versus Miami. What about you?
Is Deco like the Pokemon version of DK Metcalf?
I caught him. I caught my Deco. Got to catch them all. No one's catching DK this week.
Yeah, definitely DK at this point. Arizona's defense is, I hate saying this, Arizona might have a better defense than the Dolphins, which is crazy to say. Dolphins have the better personnel, but Arizona's with the better coach. So don't forget, they basically told the Rams, oh, you have injured guys, you're done. Like, they basically told the Rams last week, they were like, oh, Kupp's injured, Puka's injured. We don't care you have DeMarcus Robinson. We're going to shut everybody down.
Yeah.
So, yeah, give me DK in this situation. And then, so Swift or Dobbins is like asking, do you want to drive a Pinto or a Yugo? I mean, I don't even. The problem with Swift is he's not on a good team. And the problem with Dobbins is, as I said before, he's in a timeshare. So do you go with the bad team or do you go with the timeshare, Andy?
And the bad matchup. To me, I got to go with Dobbins out of this because Swift has not hit double-digit fantasy points. Dobbins has. Even if they've been home run, chunk play, garbage time, he's still done it. We haven't seen Swift do it. So in this case, I would say, you know what? Chance it, ride Dobbins. Maybe he busts one. Swift, I think with Swift, we're going to see exactly what we've been getting, 7 to 8.5 fantasy points. And that's, no one's having fun there. Might as well roll the dice, go for a home run with Dobbins, right?
And, it's funny. The current offensive coordinator of the Bears is the former OC of the Seahawks, Shane Waldron. And everybody acted like, oh, Shane's going to come in here and do some big things. Well, first of all, he has no offensive line.
Yeah.
And number two, Geno's balling still in Seattle without him. So was it Shane or was it Geno? And I'm not saying it, but I'm just saying.
I have to say, and how interesting it is for all the hype out of all the rookie quarterbacks every year is high for the most part. Josh, there are no passing touchdowns from any of the rookie quarterbacks this year yet. 0 passing touchdowns. And Drake May is going to die. Oh my gosh, the Patriots. Holy cow. Drake May. Oof. It's whenever he gets in there, it's going to get ugly. No passing touchdowns for these guys. It's absolutely wild. So I don't know. We'll see how that plays out though. Any other fantasy football questions? Get them in the chat on Twitter, on X at SickPodBrowns, at AndyMC81, at Josh Hennig. Let's get to our parlay party here, Josh. Let's build out a ticket. Let's get a little nuts here, and we'll do Browns, Giants, we'll do Eagles, Saints, and we'll pick a couple others. See if we can build a nice little parlay here. Let's start with Browns, Giants, and if it's available for you, I know it is on the DraftKings Sportsbook. If you can get the alternate receptions, there's an 8.5 for Amari Cooper. And I want that all day, Josh. Actually, no, it's 8 or more for Amari Cooper. He's been targeted the most still on the team, despite all the drops. He has acknowledged and said he's going to be in. I think this is a day where they are going to focus and feast. Amari Cooper, 8 or more receptions. I'm loving that one. And then let's say the Browns to straight up win. What do you like in that game?
Giants team total under 15.5. I don't like the Giants to score a lot of points in this game. Put the team total under in there. Look, the Giants can score 2 touchdowns and you still hit the number you need for under 15.5. Listen, if you believe that Jim Schwartz is a good defensive coordinator, then there's no reality where you think that the Giants are scoring a lot of points in this game. Give me under 15.5 total team points. Under
15.5 team points. Okay. I like that. Let's combine that. We'll do the Cooper receptions. We'll do the team points there. This one for the Saints and Eagles. I know things have not been rosy, and you know it better than anybody in Eagles land.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We know that. But the Saints, I think I have to see Derek Carr do it for a full month. I have to see that offense. And credit to Clint Kubiak. That guy's got future head coach written on him at this point. You're having that offense put the boots to the Cowboys. I got to see it a couple more times, and maybe it will. We're getting the Eagles on the DraftKings Sportsbook plus 120 for straight up winner money line. I'm taking the Eagles here on the road, man, because Josh, to me, this is a statement game for the coach and for the players. Do the wheels fall off or do you rally and get a win? And I feel the Eagles still are set to make a run. The bet with all the injuries to the 49ers, the best team in the NFC is still up for grabs. And I think it can still be the Eagles. Plus 120 for me for Philly.
So I picked against Philly on my radio show on 97.3 ESPN. So I don't know if you want to make that pick or not. So I would say either Alvin Kamara anytime touchdown, because the Eagles defense has had some problems already early this year. I also like the over in this game. I believe the last I saw was 48.5, I believe it is. Even if it's 49. Look, the Saints are probably winning this game like 35-28. Like, this is not going to be a low-scoring game. Listen, we all thought coming into this year that Vic Fangio was going to do big things. Well, I was wrong.
Not yet.
This defense is still trying to find their way. And what they did against Green Bay, they did a good job at being a bend, not break defense more often than not. Well, they were bend, not break until the final 2 minutes of the game. So, look, I think that this Saints team has one thing going for them aside from Clint Kubiak. Every time there's a presidential election in the United States, Andy, Derek Carr balls out. Look at his numbers. 2016 and 2020 were two of the best years of his career.
Really?
Yes.
That's wild.
He was second in MVP voting.
Interesting. Was that the year the first time was the year I think he broke his leg?
Correct.
Yeah. You know, I still maintain if he doesn't break that leg, Raiders could have made some noise in the playoffs that year. Like, he was 100%. Hot. He was hot.
Yeah, what was that? Matt McGloin, who I think had to come in.
Oh, we got one of those perennial cycling backups. Oh my gosh. Good Lord. Okay, let's add a couple more to this ticket. What other games do you like this week to bet on here? We got Chargers, Steelers. That one seems like a kind of I want to stay away from betting side. Texans, Vikings, Packers, Titans, Malik Willis in there. Bears, Colts. You know what? Panthers, Raiders. Let's go Panthers, Raiders real quick. I'm taking the Panthers money line. Plus 195. If you're ever, it is hard to lose 16, never mind 17 games. And I've seen the Browns do it, believe me. And the Panthers give that vibe that I get the shakes over. But if you're ever going to win a game, it is we got the veteran in to calm things down. And if Canales is any sort of motivator, he can do like no one expects us. And the Raiders upset the Raiders upset the Ravens last week, and they don't have a great team. I'm taking plus one. This might be a ticket killer. This might end the parlay party, but I'm going to say plus 195, baby. Let's go.
It will. It will end the ticket.
Come on, Panthers.
So give me the whatever Gardner Minshew's passing number is. Give me the over, because if we know anything about the Panthers, their pass defense is no bueno.
No.
To speak the language of Dave Canales, no bueno, senor. Okay, so look, you're talking about a Panthers team that just not very good. So look, I think Minshew's gonna get some. Look, he got yards on the Ravens defense. I'm sure he can get yards on the Panthers.
You're not wrong. So here are the numbers we can bet on the DraftKings Sportsbook for Gardner Minshew passing yards. Over 150 minus 900. We're not doing that. Over 175 minus 380. No. 200 or more minus 180. 225 or more, we start getting into the pluses, plus 110. 250 or more, plus 215. Over 275, plus 425. Which one do you want to take?
I feel comfortable with the 225.
225, we'll take it at a plus 110. Boom. We got that. Let's do one more game. We'll add it in, and then we'll let you head on out to your Eagles viewing party, my friend, and get you going. Any other game step out you want to bet on here?
Yeah. Let's go with the Broncos and Bucks. Broncos are at Tampa.
Okay.
And look, if we know anything about the Broncos, their offense is not good. And the Bucks defense apparently is good, Andy. So that's another team total. Give me the under for the Broncos team total. Now, the last I saw it, it was 16.5. I don't know if it's been bet down or not, but I believe the Broncos team total was 16.5.
16.5. So we'll take I'm trying to see if I can find where that is. Team props. Broncos team total points. What did you say? 15.5?
16, I think it is.
16.5. So we can take under 16.5 is plus 102.
Because remember, you know who scored 16 points last week on the Bucks? The Lions. Who do you think is a better offense? The Lions or the Broncos?
Or Bo Nix. Yeah. That's another guy who wasn't thrown for a touchdown. Okay, so we got the under 16.5. All right, so let's look at this ticket, and we can always cross a couple off. I was kind of adding willy-nilly here. So I have Eagles plus 120. You went the other way. So should we take that one? Should we take that one out for this one?
Take that out.
Okay, we'll take that one out. Alvin Kamara, anytime touchdown score, minus 200. That's in. Eagles, Saints, total over 49.5 points, right? We got that. Browns, cover the spread, 6.5. I feel good about that. Win by a touchdown?
Yeah.
Should be able to do that. Over 4.5 receptions for Amari Cooper at plus 120. I got that in there. I got the Carolina. Oh, the Carolina money line just went to plus 200 from plus 195. You want that out of there? I'll do a separate one myself. We'll take that out. We'll take that out. Plus 200.
That's Andy trying to put too much positivity into the universe.
I'm going to be riding. That's positive Andy vibes. One Andy to another, right? Gardner Minshew over plus 225, plus 110. We got that in there. Broncos, Buccaneers under 16.5 total points for the Broncos. So we got that. So we're good with that, right?
Yep.
Okay. So let's see here. So what can I bet for all that there? All right. So we're going to do all that. So that's a sixer. Let's see. What does that get us if we put? Oh, it has it all added up to it. Well, in any case, it would be a good. Okay, we'll try rolling with it. So you got a $10 on it, and I think we're going to hit really good if we get those. These don't seem unreasonable, right? These seem like doable. There's outside since we took my Panthers one out, the rest seem reasonable.
Yes.
Right? Okay. We'll pop that in there. I want to know though. You guys got any crazy bets? You get nuts today? Let me know your parlays. Let me know whatever you're doing there. Jump in the chat. Hit us up on social. Josh, tell people again where they can find your work and where you're going to be today if you're in the Jersey area.
So Monday through Friday on 97.3 ESPN FM. I am the producer for the afternoon show from 2 to 6. And then I have my own show I host start at 6 o'clock each night, Monday through Friday. Today I will be at Doyle's Poorhouse in Tuckerton for the Eagles Saints watch party. And if you're a Giants fan, come out and watch the game as well. You can watch the Giants get beat down by the Browns.
Right, baby. That's right. All right, Josh. Good stuff, buddy. I'll talk to you on your show next week.
Absolutely, sir.
All right, see you. There he goes, Josh Hennig. Get him on all social at Josh Hennig. I'd love to come down to one of Josh's viewing parties. Just got to find an excuse to get to South Jersey for some reason to do that. That'd be a lot of fun. So yeah, that's our ticket there. Do you guys got any betting questions? Any parlays there? Boy. Oh, you know why? So on the DraftKings, you can't necessarily parlay all those. I think some of the over-unders ones, but regardless. Well, the Gardner Minshew, we got some good little payouts here. We got some good little payouts on this. I like it. Let me get through some fantasy football injury notes here for you. We're going to do like getting those last-minute updates here. You got any last-minute fantasy questions? Jump in. Let's see here. Yeah, Malik Willis is going today for the Packers. It means it's Jordan Love. You won last week. Great coach game. Malik Willis still sucks. Josh Jacobs is the only start for me. I got Jaden Reed parked on my bench until Jordan Love comes back. Hopefully, this is the last week for him. Looks like T. Higgins is going to be back from a hamstring injury. Downgrades if you have Andre Yosevich. See if the Bengals can get back against Washington. It's a later week start. It's the Monday game too. So the second game. Let's see. Panthers. Jordan Love not quite ready. New left tackle for the Chiefs. Wanya Morris now protecting Patrick Mahomes. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, the big question this week, are you starting, which one and who to start for the Chiefs backfield? Now, they signed former Brown Kareem Hunt. We love Kareem Hunt. He goes back where it all began. He's on the practice squad. He's not going to be elevated. I got to say Carson Steele. He's going to be the two, get the start, get the two down look early. Sam Pirine could be in there. It's not a great situation. I have Carson Steele starting in one of my leagues, and I'm hoping he pops. Rookie running backs, we see it happen all the time. Do they use him? How much do they use him? Ty Spears, this is questionable with an ankle injury for the Titans, is expected to play. I would still pump out Tony Pollard. Giants pass rusher Brian Burns, who popped up on the injury report late in the week with a groin injury, listed as questionable, should be good to go according to a source. That is Ian Rappaport from NFL Network on that. Michael Pittman of the Colts, listed as questionable with back and calf injuries, is expected to play. Boy, outside of Anthony Richardson, man, that Colts offense is so inconsistent when it comes to fantasy. I hate it. It's just not great right now. And Steelers offensive tackle Troy Fatanu placed on IR. Sorry about that, Squealers. Hey, like that. As you probably know by now, 49ers have downgraded George Kittle to out for an already awful tight end position. I got Colby Parkinson going in for the Rams. If you look on the waiver wire, it is razor thin. You could go Mike Gesicki as well. Joe Burrow's talked about wanting to work him more into the offense. With Higgins returning, probably not as good. Noah Fant, but we're looking guys probably. I would be surprised if any of these guys hit double-digit fantasy. You're just hoping to luck out on a touchdown, really. Jaguars have also ruled out more tight end trouble. Evan Ingram. So he's out again. That's strange, though, who played the Browns. He popped a little bit. That could be a bit of a dark horse play. I'm not loving it, but. And Taysom Hill, doubtful with a chest injury. He hasn't done anything yet this year anyway. Joe Mixon. Oh, yeah, for the Texans. Joe Mixon downgraded to out. Dameon Pierce shouldn't play either. So Cam Akers, if he's on the waiver wire, Cam Akers. Now, he has looked like absolute molasses going after all his injuries. His yards per carry is under 4. But if he's the lone dog, that might be worth a play. If you're in running back trouble, that might be worth a play there. And Justin Herbert is expected to start as a high ankle sprain. That's going to be a low scoring game, I think, with the Steelers. The over-under set 34.5. I think it was at 36.5 earlier in the week. I might take in the under at that point. 34.5. That's a bit that it could very well be that low, but that's not at the payout minus 110. I'm not super interested in that. What I am interested though is in the DraftKings Sportsbook guys that we went through all those bets on. So whether you call it a TD, tutty, taken to the house, whatever you call a touchdown, they matter more at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Ready to place your first NFL bet? Try betting on something simple, like a player to score a touchdown, maybe like Amari Cooper today for the Browns versus Giants. You can do that, nice and simple. And you can, that's what makes it really fun, because you can do it in-game, same game, in-game parlays. You can do the anytime touchdowns right there. And what's also great, of course, is that if you are new to the DraftKings Sportsbook, you can score big with the number one place to bet touchdowns. That is by downloading the DraftKings Sportsbook app and using code SICKSPORTS. That's code SICKSPORTS for new customers to get, says 200 on the screen. No. It's 250 now. They upped it. DraftKings upped it. They said you bet $5, $250 in bonus bets. And on top of that, if that's not good enough, you get 1 month of NFL Plus Premium. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball.
There you go, kids. We're all ready to go. Browns versus Giants. Let's get that win. Again, I don't care how it looks. I just would like to see. Well, first, I want the win. I don't care. But ideally, I want the win plus progression in the offense and the Browns to make a statement game. Now, Myles Garrett has the foot injuries too, remember, right? He said he, as a kid, he had like flat feet surgery on both his feet. Procedures, and they've been bugging him this week. He's going to play, but he was limited in practice all week, and that could be a lingering issue. So is he on a snap count? Denzel Ward should be playing more. He only played 11 snaps last week, or 11 series last week. They should. I hope they can feast. You got to pin Daniel Jones, make him beat you with his arm, get some sacks. Let's make a statement game from the defense, from the offense. You got any more fantasy football questions? Hit me up on social at AndyMC81 at SickPodBrowns on X on Twitter. on Instagram at AndyMC Sports. Make sure you're clicking subscribe, notifications on in the show here in the chat. And betting questions too. Let me know your bets. Get in there on social. But the main thing is I want to be going into tomorrow, making some chocolate chip victory pancakes, my Victory Monday mug, and feeling good at the Browns at 2-1. Shout out to, if you're in Cleveland and you're watching, make sure you get to my guys, Johnny's Little Bar. We got Pat McNamara, great name, met Pat last year, manager of the place. Aura, the wonderful Aura, is she's best bartender going in town. I'm telling you, Aura is phenomenal. Kelly and Donnie, our good friends, are down there now. Wish we could be down there with them, enjoying the pregame and hype and energy at Johnny's Little Bar in downtown Cleveland. So if you're down there, check them out. In week 7, when I go down, we're going to be hanging out with Pat, Aura, and the crew at Johnny's Little Bar. So go Browns, beat those Giants. Let's win our week in betting, fantasy football. Producer Shane, thank you. Guest Josh Hennig, thank you. And as always, go Browns.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.